lines.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And the member for Macon has certainly elevated the climate talks in Paris, and indeed it has been a terribly, terribly trying fortnight for those people. But to suggest that it's gone from a climate conference to a peace conference is somewhat testing. What I've learned in this time, in my time in this place, is that you judge Labor by what they do, not what they say. In government, they overpromised and underdelivered, absolutely. They failed in government in addressing climate change. They failed in government in implementing policies that would address our carbon dioxide emissions. What we've had since government is perhaps one of the most overachieving ministers of this Abbott, now Turnbull government. This is a minister that has been pragmatically, methodically going about putting in place policies that will deliver the results, not the job-destroying carbon tax that this country was submitted to under those opposite. And I must touch on the presentation that was given by the minister yesterday at the Press Club, and I had an opportunity to hear most of that, and I would recommend to anybody in this place and anybody that is listening to take the opportunity to listen to the minister's contribution at the Press Club yesterday, particularly listen to the questions that were asked after his presentation, and the absolute command and the understanding and the way that in which the minister is managing this portfolio is truly something that we should all, as Australians, be very proud of. It's based on 5 pillars, indeed: clean air and climate change, which is the subject of our discussion today, clean land, of course, clean water, heritage and more recently cities. It was interesting there for the member for Port Adelaide to suggest, and was criticising indeed the minister for looking not at what is going to be in this area, of course, always very lumpy data. And it was almost a suggestion there that not only by year, I mean, I almost believe that the Shadow Minister was seeking to have a day-by-day update in terms of our nation's carbon dioxide emissions. And there was certainly a clear suggestion that the notion that our agreed rules, that was policy of those opposite, that the carryover of our targets, once we've achieved those 2020 targets, could be used as credit for our 2030 targets. It's logical. It's not ideological. It's logical. It's pragmatic. The whole debate about reducing carbon dioxide emissions should be about policies that work and the results. It's not about ideology. The facts are there for anybody to see. And it seems that those opposite are upset that the policies that this government has in place are in fact working. The point is how we deliver and measuring those results. Thus far, the Emissions Reduction Fund is delivering low-cost abatement, 92.8 million tonnes in the 2 reverse auctions that have occurred thus far, at an average price of $13.12 per tonne, which is 500% less than what was forecast under the previous government's carbon tax. And the Emissions Reduction Fund has had huge benefits, indeed, for agricultural and regional and rural Australia. Much of the abatement that's been achieved has been achieved with the good work of farmers. I must also, before I continue, just highlight that Australia's targets are between 26 and 28% for below 2005 levels by 2030, which is the target that we will be taking, absolutely compare favourably with countries such as Canada, Japan, the European Union and New Zealand. Of course, at this point in time, the United States haven't set a 2030 target, but they have a 2025 target, and then indeed we're in line with that target. I must also I'm looking forward to early next year having the departmental people come down to work with a number of communities in my electorate to look at ways community groups, local government areas can work to participate within the Emissions Reduction Fund. And this is a really great opportunity. I had the pleasure of meeting with a group at St Mary's in my electorate in the break of day recently, and they are one of those community groups that will be certainly participating. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.